Hello everybody, my name is Brandon. Welcome back to the channel. So the time is finally here. After what feels like months and months of waiting, the Barnes & Noble Criterion Collection sale has finally begun. It kicked off, as I'm filming this, yesterday, so July 10th, and it runs through August 3rd, I believe, with some speculation that it could be extended another week after that, but you never know with that part, so just assume it ends August 3rd if you are interested in taking advantage of this 50% off sale. So typically speaking, the Criterion Collection films are $40 for a standard Blu-ray. Now at this sale, of course, they are $20. And another kind of bit of controversy with this sale. First, it started on July 10th, which is about a week to a week and a half later than it normally would, even like 2 weeks later than it normally would, because typically it'll start in like the last week of June. But this year they decided to wait until the 10th, and it's a little bit shorter, only running about 3 weeks. So I don't know why all the changes, probably, pandemic related, but either way, it's here now, so I can move on from that. But typically speaking, like I said, these are normally $40, and so they're $20 now. But the other point of controversy I was going to talk about was on message boards and just the Reddit forum for Criterion. There was speculation that the additional 10% that Barnes & Noble members normally get on all items, most items, I should say, was not going to apply this year for the Criterion Collection sale. So I didn't want to order online because I wasn't sure if that was true or not. Because if you order online, you do not get the 10% off. You do get like free 2-day shipping instead, but you don't get that additional 10%. So with the number of items I wanted to buy, which I'll spoil it now, I have 10 items here that I'm going to talk about today. So with an extra 10% off, that's basically buy 9, get 1 free. So I was really hoping that this was still going to work, this additional 10%. So I decided to wait until, the stores open. I decided to take an early lunch break from work, ran up to Barnes & Noble, and sure enough, the extra 10% does still apply. So thank goodness. So all of these, $20 each, and frankly, I got 1 free. So that is incredible. So I knew I was going to go a little bit nuts on this sale just because I'd been waiting for it, and there was just a handful of movies that I wanted to grab from the Criterion Collection, which I have a relatively a decent sized Criterion collection, and I actually showcased all of the items in my collection in a 2-part video earlier on this year. I will try to remember to link those down in the description box below in case you haven't seen those, so you can kind of see where my collection started. And then I don't think I bought any since then, excluding now. So I am super excited to add these 10 titles to my list. Hopefully you guys are excited to see what I grab. So without further ado, let's dive right in. So I have these broken down basically into like 3 little piles. The first pile is just ones that I have been interested in getting, and so I grabbed them. The second pile I'm going to call my Elliot Cohen pile, which I will talk about him in a few minutes. He is a fellow YouTuber. And then my third pile is just kind of impulse buys. So I'll talk about those when I get to it. But first up, this was one that I asked my good buddy, what's one film in the Criterion Collection that you think I should have in my collection? And his answer was Ghost World. So this is the, what's his name? Terry Zwigoff? Yeah, Terry Zwigoff film from 2001. And this is spine number 872. And Ghost World. So this, of course, is based on a comic book, not a comic, a graphic novel. And I don't really know too much of what it's about, to be honest with you. I just know it is a cult comedy. So I don't know. We'll see what it is. It has an excellent cast. Names are escaping right now. Thora Birch, Scarlett Johansson, and Steve Buscemi. So, I mean, it's probably going to be enjoyable. So, looking forward to checking this one out. So, Ghost World, and this was my one pick from my buddy, who I was like, hey, what one film should I pick up this sale? And it was Ghost World. I have a desire to eventually, hopefully, maybe, collect all of the horror and sci-fi movies that are within the Criterion Collection. And this is one that I had just, what I did was like search the best horror movies in the Criterion Collection. And this one came up on virtually every list. And it's one I've not seen, which honestly, all 10 of these are blind buys. So if you don't like watching videos about blind buys, I should have warned that at the beginning, but I love blind buying. And, it is what it is. So this is another blind buy for me. But this is Carnival of Souls. This was released in 1962, and it is spine number 63. So this is actually a relatively recent Blu-ray upgrade. This was on DVD for quite some time, and I never picked it up. But now that it's on Blu-ray, I wanted to grab it. And like I said, it was on a ton of best of lists. It's supposed to have some incredible atmosphere, and it inspired quite a handful of other movies that I really like in the horror genre. So I really wanted to check this one out. And actually, this one, I probably could have fit this into the Elliot Cohen picks area, because I did watch a video recently where he talked about this one, which is probably one of the other reasons I decided to grab it. But anyway, Carnival of Souls from 1962 is the second one I grabbed this month. As you guys might know, I am a huge Quentin Tarantino fan, and this movie is always cited as one that inspired him. Obviously, there are countless movies that inspired Tarantino and that he takes from, but this one has been getting a little love recently just because it recently was released on Blu-ray, and basically every version of this before this Blu-ray has been very, very poor quality from what I read. I actually started watching this movie on Amazon Prime because it was available on there, and I wanted to see how I liked it before I bought it. I didn't finish it because I was enjoying what it was, so I watched about the first, quarter to a half of it, and I liked it, but I didn't want to keep going because it was so difficult to actually watch because it was so dark. It was so hard to see anything. So this is one that specifically I'm buying because I want to see how good this Blu-ray upgrade really is. Everyone talks about how incredible this looks. I don't even know if I said the title yet. This is Detour, and this was released in 1945, spine number 966. So again, a relatively recent one here. So I don't know. I just really want to check out how this Blu-ray looks, the improvement in the picture quality versus the Amazon Prime streaming version. It is a noir film. Yeah, excited to dive into this one again and really give it my full attention and see how it looks compared to the streaming version I started to watch. So, Detour from 1945. There are some collections within the Criterion Collection that I'm really interested in owning all of, like the silent films from Charlie Chaplin, rather. Those ones, I have a large number of them, actually, and I would like to collect all of them eventually. I didn't purchase any of those on this sale, but one of the collections that I was focused on was the Kubrick Collection. Now, of course, they also released Spartacus from Stanley Kubrick, but that was a DVD only and out of print at this point, and frankly, not something that I'm terribly interested in having from the Criterion Collection. I will eventually like to have that in my collection, just so I have all of Kubrick's films, but this was one that I grabbed in order to help complete that. Apologies for cutting in here at such an awkward spot, but after I got done filming this video, I was searching through my Criterion Collection and realized I already own The Killing on Blu-ray, which is just ridiculous because I've had that on my list to purchase for the past 3 weeks. You think I would have, taken a second look at my collection to make sure I didn't own it already, but nonetheless, I already own it. So ignore the fact that I purchased this one because I did just run up to Barnes & Noble and exchange it for something else. But I am keeping this in just because there is some things at the beginning that are still relevant and some things at the end that are relevant. So I'm going to keep it in, but I'm adding this awkward insert in the middle there. So when I went back to Barnes & Noble, I grabbed a film that I'd been hearing a lot about recently. There is another YouTuber his name is Daisuke Beppu. He is from Japan, and he is incredibly knowledgeable when it comes to basically every film ever, as far as I can tell. His videos on the upcoming releases after Criterion announces them are an hour long, and they are so detailed. He is incredibly knowledgeable in the world of film. So one film that he was talking about in an older video, I think this was from a couple years ago that I found actually just this morning, was a film called A Brighter Summer Day. So this is I believe this is a Taiwanese film. Yeah, Taiwanese film from 1991, and this is spine number 804. So he was talking about this film, and he actually started tearing up talking about it. This film had such an emotional impact on him, and so that got me interested. I was reading online, other people were talking about how this is just the best of the best. So this is an absurdly long, take a look, 236-minute long film. That's ridiculous. So that's just shy of 4 hours if my math serves. So I don't know when I'm going to get to this one, but it's one that is streaming on the Criterion channel. But because it's so long, I decided I wanted to own it just so I could, kind of digest it in parts if I need to. Just easier. So I ended up swapping The Killing for A Brighter Summer Day. But because I am who I am, I can't just buy one because I have a problem. So when I was there, I grabbed another one that I'd been interested in and that is not streaming on the Criterion channel. And this is from 1989, Sex, Lies, and Videotapes. So this is the Steven Soderbergh film. This is actually his first film that gained him some, recognition and let him do a lot more. So this one I don't know too terribly much about, but I've heard nothing but great things about it, and it's, you know, one of those films that I feel like it needs to be in my collection. So I grabbed Sex, Lies, and Videotapes, and this is spine number 938. So from here on out, I'll probably say that I picked up 10 movies during the sale, but it's actually 11. So keep that in mind as we continue on through the video here. So I apologize for the awkward insert, but Sex, Lies, and Videotapes and A Brighter Summer Day were two more I grabbed. And again, I already own The Killing, so I took that one back and replaced it for one of these. So I will kind of awkwardly put us back into the normal timeline here where I am talking about the rest of the films I grabbed. So sorry for the interruption. Now, the other one I planned on grabbing this month was Dr. Strangelove. Unfortunately, that one was sold out in like the entire state where I'm at here, and so I couldn't grab it in store. It was sold out online yesterday, but I actually checked it out this morning, and it looks like it might be available today. So I might grab two more very soon here, and I think I'm going to have those two shipped, which I'll talk about the other one in just a minute. But I think now I only need Dr. Strangelove, and I have the entire Kubrick collection that's available from Criterion. And finally, just ones that I was interested in. This is Funny Games. So this is a Michael Haneke film, and I have seen the remake for this, but I've never seen the original. I love the remake. So these are home invasion films, essentially, but done in such a different and unique way. The remake is fascinating. I enjoyed the heck out of it. There's some really strange moments that kind of mess with you, but it's so well done. So this original from Michael Haneke was released in 1997, and I've heard that it is even better than the remake. So we'll see. You know, home invasion films are some of my favorite it's one of my favorite subgenres, and so I'm really expecting that I'll enjoy this one. So I'm going to watch this one soon. So Funny Games released in 1997, and this is spine number 975. So these next three are what I'm going to dub the Elliot Cohen picks. So obviously, I don't have a personal relationship with Elliot Cohen at all, so it's not like he recommended these to me. It's just picks that I found through watching his channel. So if you don't know Elliot Cohen, he is an incredible YouTuber. I actually found him because he commented on my Criterion Collection tour that I did, and that's how I discovered his channel. He is almost an obsessive boutique Blu-ray collector. He loves the Criterion Collection, loves Arrow Video, Arrow Academy. He introduced me to Indicator, which is a really unique line that I frankly have not bought anything from yet, but they look like a boutique label that I'm very interested in eventually owning some from. He is just a super lighthearted, incredibly knowledgeable, just seems like a very genuine person that I would love to spend time with, like in real life. And so that's typically what it takes for me to start watching someone's channel. And so because of that, I have just watched like all of his videos, essentially. I always watch them when they come out. One of my favorite YouTubers that I've found recently. So because of that, I wanted to grab some that I know he recommends because he has them in, one or multiple videos talking about these. And so I know they are ones that are near and dear to him. And so I figured, hey, if he likes them, maybe I'll enjoy them too. So I would be remiss not to have picked up Barry Lyndon. So if Elliot is watching this for whatever reason, he would probably understand why and maybe chuckle, because Barry Lyndon, of course, is his favorite film of all time, from what I can tell. He talks about it quite often. And actually, he just hit like 3,000 subs, I believe it was. And in his Q&A, he said it actually took him a few times to really enjoy for this film to become one of his favorites. And so hopefully it won't take me a ton of times to love it, but we'll see. So this is another Kubrick film. So like I said, I think the only one I have left is Dr. Strangelove, and then I will have his entire all of his films that are in the collection. So Barry Lyndon, this was released in 1975, and this is spine number 897. And basically all I know about this movie is when I was in grad school, one of my professors talked about this film because of the lighting. He was on, I have a degrees in theater, and so he was on the technical side, and he was a lighting guy. And apparently the way that Kubrick uses light in this film is phenomenal. I know everyone always talks about the scene with the candles, like it's this giant candelabra, and it's natural lighting to the candelabra. It's not any other like lights that I have or anything. It's just light from the candelabra. And just kind of the chaos of filming with that because of the wax dripping down on people and things like that. So that's really all I know about this movie. So it's a long one at 185 minutes, but typical Criterion collection anymore. So, or not anymore. I guess just in general, they like to put longer films out in their collection, and that's totally fine. So hopefully I'll enjoy this one at least half as much as Elliot does. So Barry Lyndon from Stanley Kubrick, and this was from 1975. This next one, I'm kind of sitting here contemplating if this really was an Elliot pick or if I'm mistaken. But if it's not Elliot, I apologize for misrepresenting your tastes. But this is Red River from Howard Hawks, and this was released in 1948. Spine number 709. Not that you're going to be able to see it there, but... So Red River, I own a large number of Westerns from the Criterion Collection, which is really odd because I would never consider myself a big Western fan. I haven't even watched that many. But the reason I wanted this release specifically was because, one, it's a chunker. So look at this. But the reason it is a chunker is because it comes with not only the movie, but it comes with the book that the film is based on. And that is Blazing Guns on the Chisholm Trail by Borden Chase. So the reason I grabbed this was specifically because it came with the book, the source material that the film's based on, which, if you guys have watched my channel at all, you know I'm big on adaptations and novelizations, so this was right up my alley. So Red River from 1948, happy to have this one in my collection. I've been wanting it for quite a while now, just because of the fact that it had the book in it. So hopefully I'll actually enjoy both the book and the movie when I get around to them, but we'll see. So Red River from 1948. And last but not least for the Elliot picks, we have one that he actually just talked about in his one of his most recent videos from when I filmed this, and that is Failsafe. So this is a Sidney Lumet film from 1964, and this is spine number 1011. So this one just came out within the past few months here. This one I've heard is just incredibly tense. And it sounds really fascinating. It has an incredible cast like Walter Matthau, obviously directed by Sidney Lumet. Henry Fonda is in this one. It just has an amazing cast. And it's supposed to be just one of the more like tense films that you can find. So it is a war film. Basically, from what I understand, is like it's during the Cold War. Someone hits the button to send a nuke that they weren't supposed to. And so then it's a matter of, can they stop this or not? I think it's like a U.S. soldier hits the button and they're sending a bomb to Russia, I believe, possibly, or the Soviet Union, whatever the case is. And so they're basically trying to stop this from happening. And so that's what you're watching here. At least that's how I understand it right now. Again, this is a blind buy, and I'm going based on what I've heard. So Failsafe, this was one that I'm certain Elliot recommended. He said this was a very good double bill with Dr. Strangelove. Obviously, Dr. Strangelove is a comedy, and this is the opposite of that. So I can definitely see why he would have paired these together, both being, war films. So I'm really interested to see this one. This is another one I really just want to open and watch right now. So I'll probably watch this one sooner rather than later. So Failsafe from 1964. And I just want to say thank you to Elliot for, talking about these in his film so that I then can go and research them and make sure, yes, this is something I want to see. So thank you, Elliot. I appreciate your recommendations. So I mentioned earlier that there were two films that I was trying to grab at the sale but couldn't. The first one being Dr. Strangelove, was not able to find that in store. The second one was a film that just came out like last week. I think it was July 7th, if I remember right. And that was War of the Worlds. So this cover art for this film is beautiful. I absolutely have to have this in my collection, it being a sci-fi film. And I enjoyed the book when I read it. I love the Tom Cruise War of the Worlds film, so I'm sure I'm going to enjoy this one. But unfortunately, I couldn't find that anywhere. It said it was in stock at one place. I went, someone had already grabbed it. It said it was in stock at a second place. I went, it was on hold for somebody. So I was like, I was super frustrated. Couldn't find War of the Worlds. So Dr. Strangelove and War of the Worlds are two I probably will purchase through barnesandnoble.com if I am able to either later today or later this weekend, whatever the case may be. So then I was standing around and I was like, man, I had it in my head that I was going to buy 10 movies so I could get one free. I want to grab a couple more just because I'm an idiot. And so there were two that I had a whole handful in my hand. One of them was like Police Story 1 and 2. I was contemplating that. I really want to grab The Tree of Life because that's the last Terrence Malick film I need in my collection. Quaiden, however you say that, is another one that has been recommended by Elliot and various other people. And so those were ones I had in my hand. But ultimately, I decided to go with these two because I've heard, so many good things about them, and the size of the packaging really sold me on it. It felt like I was getting a bargain for the price, which I didn't mention, I don't think, at the beginning, but normally these are $40, then they're cut down to $20, but with the extra 10%, these come out to $18 before tax. So that's ridiculous. So that's why I just wanted to keep going because I, had the ability to, so I wanted to do it. So First up, I'm going to talk about a Spike Lee joint, Do the Right Thing. So this was released in 1989, and this is spine number 97. And this is another one that I believe is a relatively recent Blu-ray upgrade from the DVD that they've had for so long. So I have never seen a Spike Lee film. I need to correct that, and I'm going to do it with Do the Right Thing. Reading the description of this film and finding out what it's about, it sounds very relevant to everything that's going on today. It's very much a racial tension film, and I don't know, it just sounds fascinating. I've heard nothing but great things about it, and look at the size of this guy. It's awesome. I don't really know, I guess I've read it, but I don't remember at this point what all comes in this one, but I'll put it up here so you can kind of see. But yeah, I've just heard so many good things about it, so I wanted to check it out. Never seen a Spike Lee film, so I figured this would be a great place to start with the Criterion Collection. So, Do the Right Thing, released in 1989. So much like Ghost World, the last film I picked up was also a recommendation from the same person, even though he didn't realize he was recommending it, because it's one of his favorite films. He's talked about it before in the past, and so I wanted to grab it. I've always heard great things about it. I should have practiced how to say this before I pulled it up here, but Y2 Mama Tambien, I believe is it, how you say that. And it's directed by Alfonso Cuarón, and this is from 2001. So Alfonso Cuarón is a wonderful director. I believe he did Gravity, which I absolutely loved when I watched it. I think he did some other films, but they're escaping me right now as I'm sitting in front of the camera. But he's a great director, so super excited to have this one. This is spine number 723, I believe. You can't see it on the side there, but yeah, 723. So this is, I don't know too terribly much about it. I know it is like a road comedy, kind of a coming-of-age story. And I've heard nothing but incredible things. So wanted to add this one to my collection. And again, look at the size of this guy. So hold it up next to like Failsafe, for example. You can see how much bigger it is, or at least it feels that much bigger. So I just felt like I was holding a bargain in my hand. And so I decided to grab this one as opposed to, something like Quieten or something, whatever the case was. So Y2 Mama Tambien by Alfonso Cuarón is the last film that I picked up in this sale. All right, so that's going to do it. These are the 10 movies I picked up during the Barnes & Noble 50% off the Criterion Collection sale. Like I said, I know for sure I'm going to try to grab 2 more before the August 3rd date, the cutoff date. And I just keep researching, I keep watching YouTube videos talking about what releases are necessary, and so I might grab some more. The good thing is like I mentioned in another video, this is my birthday month, so I have said to like my wife that, hey, if you get me anything, get me a Barnes & Noble gift card. So if I do get any gift cards, for my birthday this year, they are going to go toward purchasing some more movies from the Criterion Collection during this sale. So if I do, I will definitely have a follow-up video for this. But if not, then, this is what I grabbed. And even if this is all that I get this time, it has been fantastic. I've never bought this many at once. I'm so happy that I was able to grab these 10 movies. Excited to finally own these, and I can't wait to watch these. So let me know down in the comments below, have you hit the Barnes & Noble Criterion Collection sale yet? And if you have, what did you grab? I'd love to hear about it down in the comments below. Also, where should I start? Where should I start with these movies? I feel like there's so many good places to start, so help me decide down in the comments below. Alright guys, if you enjoyed this video, please consider subscribing to Cinefessions here on YouTube, and if not, thank you anyway for watching. I really do appreciate it. And just another thank you to Elliot, not because he personally recommended me anything, just because all his videos have helped guide me to some of these, and I really appreciate it. I love his work, so I'll try to link his channel down below so you guys can check him out if you are interested in boutique Blu-rays like I am. And thank you also to my buddy who helped me pick one of these. I really do appreciate that. Alright guys, so that's going to do it for today. I just want to say thank you all so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time.